Hello, everybody. How are you? It's Anita Strittmatter here, and I'm welcoming you to the Awakened Breath Masterclass. So happy to be sharing this with you because it is one of the most potent practices I have in my arsenal to help you as far as releasing tension in your body. And many of you know that my primary focus when I do body work through the yoga therapy um, practice that I have is I focus on decompressing the spine. And so what this Ujjayi pranayama class does is just that as well. But it focuses on really it's whole body, whole mind, all the energetics, um, mental, emotional. There's not one area of the body really that's not getting addressed. But one of the, I'll just at least start with a few things that people really prefer and love about the practice that they get from it. And I'll even start with myself. I tend to use it almost on the daily, and in particular because I use it for increasing my energy throughout the day. So sometimes we're not either getting enough sleep, or we're not sleeping well. We're not sleeping when we should be sleeping, right? And then that, in essence, takes us through, a less enjoyable day. And, many of us are entrepreneurs who I work with. And, we have a lot of, you hear the thunderstorm? Just started up out here. Anyway, some people that makes them nervous, some it calms them, right? But anyway, so, we need to have a lot of energy, and we need to, if we're working with people directly, as opposed to, product industry, but more of a service industry, we really need to be present and focused for the folks that we are being of service to. So we can't really be dilly-dallying around with not having enough energy and not being present for the people that we're here to help. And sometimes we're moms and dads too, and we don't have a choice whether we're being, kept awake or not. So 15 minutes of this practice actually equals an hour's worth of sleep. Woo! Hello! That's a good thing if you haven't been able to get the kind of sleep that you like. So anyway, that is a major reason that I lean into it. But also, one of the major benefits is pain relief. And so I work with people specifically to treat their pain. Okay, and they've tried many, many things. And, some are often on pain medication or medications, and they're looking to get off of that because of the side effects that causes. And, they really don't see this as a long-term opportunity. Taking medication is, that's not their strategy that they want. They want to do something to get out of the pain and move beyond that. So, I've literally, now I will say this doesn't happen all the time, but I have literally had someone come in for a session with me, and they were in so much pain, they really can't do much of anything as far as moving their body into a pose position. And so when someone is in that much pain, we work with the breath. And truth be told, the breath is more powerful of a process even than doing the poses. But people don't always think of the breath as yoga. We tend to think of poses as yoga, but pranayama is another way, yogis would say, working with the breath. And it is, in essence, more powerful. It is your life force energy that we're activating directly by using the breath. So in doing that, I've had clients come in and as much as a 10 out of 10 on the pain scale, and they walked out a 0 out of 10. Now, wow. Yeah, wow, right? Now that is not, the everyday occurrence, but I'm going to say, hey, it's happened, and it's not just once it's happened. And I will say this, though, every time someone comes in to see me and we work with this breathing practice that I'm going to teach you today, their pain is coming down. Whatever they started at, 7, 8, 5, 4, whatever it is, it will be less than when you started. So can we celebrate that? Yay, woohoo. how some of
I'm
the
getting heavy rain now. I don't know if I should be muted or not.
oh, it's okay. It's all right. No worries. I can hear it. I kind of like having this nature sound in the background. um, anyway, so actually, I'd like to read you a couple other of benefits to the practice because there is more than that, and it's pretty profound. And this is from directly from my school, so I just wanted to share it like as it's shared with me, with you, so that you can understand how pervasively this can work. So, releases muscular tension, is profoundly healing physically, emotionally, mentally. The sound of the breath. So I'm going to take you through a process that will teach you to focus on the sound of the breath. And that's really where the magic is. It's happening. And so when we listen to the sound of the breath, it soothes your mind and nervous system. A lot of us have a lot of stress, or we've got many, many things on our mind. So to have a practice that can bring you back to center and to a place of grounding is really, really super, super important these days. I mean, who knows, maybe all of life, right? But these days, that's something that many of us can benefit from. It gives a sense of peace and well-being, relaxes, refreshes, centers, grounds, calms, and focuses both your mind and your body. There's a point where there's a natural slowing down of the breath too. So this slower pace of the breath allows time for your body to absorb the oxygen into the cells. So this is an alternative for people who want or cannot do cardiorespiratory activities. Um, you are really, when you do those activities, you're training your body to learn how to uptake oxygen more efficiently, and you will get that from this practice too. Okay. So as you are listening to the sound, this like slower pace of your breath, it steadies your wandering mind. So if you're having trouble meditating, then this is a practice that will help bring your focus to center so that mind's not taking you off on a trip, which is something so many people complain about with their meditation practice. Improves your mood, eliminates tension, slows down your internal speedometer. There will become a point, and I may not go into all the details here of the slowing of the breath and the lengthening of the breath today. I'm just going to give you a basic beginner's practice, but no, it's the natural cadence of what will happen with your breath anyway. Okay, so when it does lengthen, this opens up new breathing areas in your body, in your whole body, your whole system. It makes normal, easy breathing more open and more effective. Clears out stale air from your lungs and stimulates your immune system. So, here we go. This is another major way and reason for when I decide to practice, do this practice. When I feel sick, so for example, maybe I'll get the beginnings of a sore throat. And instead of letting that take its course, I start hitting it with everything I've got so that I don't actually get full bore sick. And one of those things is doing this ujjayi practice. So my throat gets sore, it's automatic. I start doing more ujjayi. And let's talk about that for a moment. So if your body is in a complete state of balance, then 20 minutes one time a day is fine. If your body is pulled out of balance in some way, like, in the case where I told you I was getting sick, or you have a diagnosis, something documented even besides just an acute version of being in illness or dis-ease, then you really want to do this practice 20 minutes 2 times a day. And now I've told you that 15 minutes equals 60 minutes of sleep. So it's not like I'm asking anyone to we're all very busy, right? So give me more time. Put another practice, another daily self-care practice on your list. This is actually, I'm giving you time, right? So if you're doing 20 minutes 2 times a day, you're giving yourself 2 more hours worth of rest and restoration. So you're still making out, right? So more benefits. The increased prana flow stimulates and balances your immune system. That's a little bit of a repeat there. Purifies the entire system, expelling diseases and negativities. I have many, many, many times over when someone really took this practice on, been told that I don't know what it is. I just feel better. I have more positivity. There's this like this lightness of being, in my body and in my mind. I'm not as bothered by things. People are noticing I'm having better, attitude. So, it's that's a wonderful thing to have in life. Increases strength and vitality. Here we go. Increases or creates enthusiasm for life and a positive attitude. Stimulates your healing process on all levels. Okay? And there's no contraindications to this practice. There are some things that I do that I really need to know your medical history background to kind of prescribe something, right, for you that would be efficacious for you, beneficial for you. So this has none of that. And here you go. I know some of you out there, this is important for you to know, but it's good for asthma. It's good for allergies. So, we have a lot of people with allergies this time of year. We're in spring here in Baltimore, Maryland, and there's a lot of rains, as you can hear the thunderstorm outside. There is, molds and spores and things that people are, whatever. That could be in your house. It doesn't have to be in the environment. It could literally be you're allergic to some foods or even. So if you do this enough, you will literally get rid of your allergies. Okay. It's also really great for people with high blood pressure and coronary issues, and improves your sleep. So here, I like to read that because there's so many things that it helps. And in a way, people go, well, how can that be? That many things, solving that many issues. But when you work with high vibe practices that really are incredibly comprehensive, it can be so. And I'm not just saying it because I read it to you from my training. I'm saying it to you because I've experienced it, and people I share it with also get to experience it as well. So that's my great wish for you, and I hope this nurtures you. And on that note, let's get started with teaching you. Cool, huh? Yeah. So what we're doing is, we have the sound of our breath. It's happening naturally all the time on the inside. And we're simply going to create a narrowing of the inner throat passageway, which will allow for the sound. So you can think of like, a horn instrument. You have the big mouthpiece, right? And then it narrows down to a tube. And that pressurization creates the sound, which is what we're going to do with our inner throat muscles. Okay, so some people will call this the ocean sounding breath, and you'll hear of it. Also, sometimes people will kind of humorously say, Darth Vader breathing. It can sound a little bit like that too. The longer you do it, the softer it's going to become, and that's within a session even. And so it may not sound so Darth Vader-y. In time, it's going to sound softer. All right, so on that note, different styles of yoga will teach the practice in from different perspectives. Our perspective, and the one I'm going to share with you, is one that does not create any form of stress, strain, or tension. We're trying to create, our focus is spinal decompression. So it does do that, but it works across your whole body mind as well. Okay, so if you find yourself straining or forcing, you'll want to soften the throat muscles a little bit so that you're not, blowing a coronary in your head, right? All right, so how you can find these inner throat muscles, because they're not these muscles, on the outside. They're the muscles more, let me tilt this down a little bit, more on the inside, and you'll find that it's going to come from this lower part of your throat. So if you cough, right, or even, I prefer this one, if you clear your throat. Okay, go ahead and clear your throat so I can hear it. There you go. All right, now from that space, clear it more softly, more gently. Now I might, yeah, and maybe even softer still. Okay. So use those same inner throat muscles to narrow your throat passageway. So you found them by clearing your throat. Now use them and pull them in. So it's just a slight narrowing, a gentle slight narrowing. And if you want, you can take an inner, and take your experience inside and close your eyes. And begin to just listen to the sound of your breath as it moves in and as it moves out. Are you having any trouble with making the sound? Just do a little check-in here before we go further. No?
I'm
Okay.
fine.
Okay, good.
Darth Vader and I are fine.
Okay, so go ahead and I'm going to talk you through, about, let's see where we are, about 5 to 8 minutes of the practice. So you can settle in again, close your eyes, find your inner throat muscles. And all you're doing is just exaggerating the sound of your breath. Using your inner throat muscles, not your neck muscles. And the breath is moving all through your nose. So if your mouth is open, close your mouth so you're not tempted to breathe that way. And if you were, had a cold and felt stuffy, you can always open your mouth and let your air come in and out that way a little bit. But primarily the practice is to be done through the nasal passageway. Listening to the sound of your breath as it moves in, as it moves out. Now, slow down your breath just a little bit. Let the same quantity of breath simply move through a little slower. As your sound becomes quieter and more internal, your body recognizes this sound. It is the most healing sound there is. Now, slow down your breath so the sound becomes quieter, more internal. And smooth out the flow of your breath so the sound is smooth and steady. The same steady sound at the beginning of your breath, through the middle, and all the way to the end. So you won't have a big burst of air in the beginning, nor any trailing off in the end, just the same smooth and steady flow the whole way through. Listening to this sound is the most important element in this breathing practice. And even if you are having trouble holding in your inner throat muscles, if you simply just listen to the natural, normal flow of your breath as it goes in and out, you would still receive some benefits. It's the sound of the breath that's the most important part. Let the sound of your breath have an effect on your mind. as well as your body. All while you listen to this quiet, inner, secret sound. It's so quiet, just no one can hear it but you. You can let the next breath be the last one in this series. Let your throat muscles soften. And your normal, easy breathing pattern to return. Allow your normal breath to move in and out. And notice where and how that may be different from before. So, having finished your short practice here we did together, I do want to leave you with 3 situations where this practice is contraindicated, okay? And some of it's going to sound very normal and natural for you, and it'll make a lot of sense. So one is when you're doing something that requires an outward focus, such as, driving, all right? You can use this to shift a state. So if you're in some really, very challenging driving situations and there's people, road raging around you or whatever, you can use up to 3 cycles of the breath to shift your state. Okay. And then after that, you don't want to continue because it will take this naturally inward focusing perspective, which is why it's so beautiful for helping you with your meditation practice. Okay. The second one is highly, highly important. Do not, because you might learn this, take the practice on and now want to share it with other people. And that's totally fine. And I hope you do, actually. But don't share this with someone who's on immunosuppressant drugs. That is, most of the time, that looks like somebody who has had an organ transplant. Okay? And in that situation, they are trying to not stimulate the immune system so it will not fight the organ that's foreign to the body right now. So do not do that. And then the last one is when someone is in the process of transitioning. So in that case, the Ujjayi is actually called Ujjayi, Ujjayi, and the second part of it is pranayama. So prana is the life force that follows through on the waves of your breath. Okay, and with someone who is trying to let go of the body, we don't want to raise their life force energy when they're trying to let that go. Okay,
Yeah.
if they're trying to, overcome whatever it is that they're dealing with, definitely teach it to them, or even breathe it for them. Sometimes I've heard a story of another colleague who, did the ujjayi for her husband who was in a coma, and she did it for him on his chest. And when he came out, he said, "I followed your breath out. Thank you." So the implications here are quite powerful, and you've been given a real gift. Don't make the mistake, really, of thinking that it's so simple and therefore not effective. So anyway, yes, there's a question. If I lose you, we're getting ready to lose the video, and just come back in. But let me, if you have questions, please reach out to me in the meantime, and I'll be happy to answer them. And I wish you so much beauty and joy through the practice of doing Ujjayi Pranayama. Be well.
Okay.
Namaste. You're welcome.